Hey guys, and welcome back to the Accumulation Zone. In today's video we are going to have a look at today's CPI news event trading day on US-30 during the London kill zone and much more. And if you haven't yet, make sure to click on the first link in the video description box below, and then you end up on our free trial page, and simply by filling out this form you get granted a 10-day free trial access to the Scalper Pro indicator. I can really recommend it to you if you're looking for that edge and finally become a consistently profitable trader. There is a learning curve to it. You're not going to be profitable overnight, but I can promise you that if you follow the rules by heart and you put some effort into this, you are going to be profitable. Let's have a quick look at the ForexFactory news schedule we had going on today on Wednesday, the 12th of April. We saw that today at 2:30 p.m. New York local time, so 30 minutes into the New York kill zone, we received the CPI, the Consumer Price Index measurement, month to month, year to year, and the core CPI. And as we can see right here in the news and latest stories, we can see that the US inflation is at 5%, the lowest it has been since 2021. We see that we forecasted 5.1% and we actually went below that. So that's basically good news, and it's definitely going to set the tone for the FOMC meeting minutes, where they are going to discuss and already, let's say, plan something for the FOMC news event, where they are likely going to either increase the current interest rate or decreasing it maybe. So the core inflation report today, the CPI, was a really important measurement going forward into this year of 2023, with where inflation is basically the main topic, especially after COVID. Alright guys, now I say we jump straight into TradingView and have a look at some charts. Before we get started with US-30 during today's London kill zone, which is happening right over here, I would like to also have a look at yesterday's New York kill zone. I didn't trade it live, but I watched it completely. Right here during the New York kill zone we had two losing trades, right this one here where we tried to short, but we have been stopped out. And then right here we've been rejected by the VWAP, and we got a beautiful short with a pretty tight stop for a New York kill zone, but it also hit a 2-to-1 risk to reward just in 10 minutes. Then we completely reversed and we got our first long opportunity right here, pretty much at the high of the day, and our stop loss would have been at the swing low right here with the VWAP. I wouldn't have chosen this wick low, because if we're already going below the VWAP, in my opinion, that's not really a sign of strength overall on US-30. So I would have placed my stop loss right here at the VWAP, also because our take profit target, if we would have went for this wick low, would have been super far away and wouldn't have even been hit towards the end of the New York session. So that's that. We have been stopped out, so we've been back at break even after one losing trade, one winning trade, and another losing trade. But at the end of the New York kill zone, right after we've been stopped out by this wick here to the downside, we saw a beautiful pin bar candle and a nice bottom formation. So a retest of the VWAP, a doji followed by a pin bar, and with the very next candle we received a long entry which hit a 2-to-1 risk to reward very easily without any stress. And then later on during the session we actually saw a beautiful shorting opportunity by opening up the Scalper Pro. So if we zoom in here, we saw that the Scalper Pro formed lower highs during this whole period, but at the same time US-30 on its price chart continued forming higher highs. And next part is we are inside the bearish reversal zone, this red band here on the Scalper Pro. And we're also squeezing, which is basically being shown by this yellow highlighting in the background. And it's basically telling us that price is narrowing down. It's inside of a consolidation range. It's not really moving much. Like, for example, if we compare it to here where the band is really big and prices are moving strongly to the upside. right here, we pretty much moved within a box, within a uptrending slow box right here, but we only saw dojis and very small bodied candles. So Scalper Pro gave you the perfect breakout signal right here on this candle where we broke out of the band. We actually got our stochastic RSI crossover one candle before that drop, which would have been a beautiful short of, I think, 100 pips down to the VWAP. And we bounced off the VWAP, and then we continued consolidating right into the new day opening, where we started with our Asian session, where we can also see how narrow those bands have been during this whole Asia session. Then right here at New York local time midnight, according to our strategy, the VWAP reset, and at the beginning of the London cable zone, we still have been inside our Asia high and our Asia low, and also inside of our, let me zoom out here, previous day low, previous day high. So let's actually have a look at the London kill zone itself that we traded live on Discord today. Today we received a total of 3 entries during the London kill zone, and we actually ended up at break even, which is great for a CPI day. Basically, we caught everything live with the community, with the members who are actually trading the strategy, and decided to communicate on our Discord server. We're getting way more activity than we used to receive, so big shout out to everyone who's active on Discord. And yeah, so we basically got our first entry right here at 2:05 a.m. New York local time, where I placed my stop loss right here on this big momentum candle with no wick to the downside right here at this candle's high. So my basic thinking, the reasoning behind that is, if I place it higher, my take profit is going to be further away, making it harder for the price to hit my take profit target. And if we're already going above this level, I would expect bullish continuation, especially since we're also above the VWAP at this point. Alright, so this trade obviously did not play out, and we lost 1% on this trade. And then price continued to move up, and while price moved up, we saw this decline on the stochastic RSI. So that's not really a pullback, which we consider a typical pullback. Yet, anyway, we took this entry right here at the high of the day. And we also went for a 1-bar stop because, basically for the same reasoning, I did not want to have my take profit very much or pretty much so far above the previous day high. Right here, that's our previous day's high. So I tried to chase momentum above the previous day high, but it did not work out. I've been stopped out on the very next candle, currently down 2%. But we saw that we beautifully held support right around this level, and we consolidated for quite some time after we received our bullish entry right here at 440 on a down close candle. One of our community members was a little bit scared to enter on a down close candle, but it's the strategy. You simply just take them, place your stop loss right here. I went for a 80-hour stop loss because I wanted to give it some room to the downside. And yeah, price continued moving up very smoothly to hit our 2-to-1 risk to reward. And we ended up at break even for this day on US-30. Very nice done. Everyone who traded it live with me on our Discord server ended up at break even on US-30. Let's continue having a look at its New York session and especially at the CPI news release. So now having a look at our New York kill zone here on US-30, we can see that prior to the news release and our opening at 8 a.m. New York local time, we saw some major consolidation, which also was highlighted by the Scalper Pro with this highlighted background. Then we had a fake out move to the downside, which is very typical for a news event. They first try to trap traders short or hit stops of everyone who's already long in this market. They beautifully accumulated around the VWAP during 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes ahead of the news release. And then we had this massive pump above the previous day's high. So I actually have to give a little shout out here. So right here we are on our Discord server, the accumulation zone. If you haven't joined us yet, make sure you do. The link for that is in the description box below. And right here, one of our community members, Kel, he is currently running on a free trial of the Scalper Pro, which I also can only really recommend you to do if you're struggling with your trades. And right here on US-30, he took that same long that I took, where I went for that 1 bar stop right down here, where I've been stopped out in just under 5 minutes. He took that same long, but he placed a stop loss at the VWAP at this time. And he managed to catch a 4 risk to reward trade. And just like that, he made 4% in a single trade open at 10.15. Very simple, isn't it?